The season finale. In the booth with me tonight, I have Pete Colligator as usual. In-race reporter Ward Burton. We'll get to him in just a second. Has yet to help us in the booth this season, but the man from across the pond, Robbie Racing, has decided to join us.
Hello everybody, how you doing?
All right, so I want to get to it real minutes before the race timer is going to get to going. So Ward, I want to talk to you real quick. You have an 11-point lead over Daha. Realistically, that's the battle we all want to watch tonight, as the transfer spot's pretty well locked up, so we're going to be watching you. But 11-point gap, what do you have to do here tonight to get that victory at Texas Motor Speedway over Daha Jr.?
The first thing I have to do tonight, if I'm being honest, is be mistake-free. I look back at Charlotte, which was a very similar race a few weeks back. I think it was 2 weeks back to be exact. And, I found myself early on, along with Private Patton, up in the lead and had an incident early on with a lap car that kind of sent me back through the field. I look at that as, hey, for example, Junior, by the way, went on to win that race, but that could have been an instance where, hey, maybe I could have won that race, could have gained 5 points, so on. And I look at that as an aspect of, all right, be patient. Yes, I have a points lead, but if I'm going to win a championship here tonight, it's going to definitely having to come down to being patient, being consistent. And on top of it, the most critical key when I say don't make mistakes, pits. It is so easy here to speed in the pit road. You got to make sure that you don't miss the pit road entry and make sure you hit your marks tonight in this one.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Another issue that we've been seeing all week long is that turn 4 exit, a lot of people getting loose, and you'll see a lot of grass flying. Assuming that's going to happen here tonight. Now, there is no saving aspect, right? So these guys will be racing hard. We're going to see you get 30 laps of the tank. We're going to see who has their car built for going 20. As we always see on Wednesday nights, I expect to see different strategies, and it should be a good one. You and Daha all season long have been top 5 competitors week in and week out. So from me, anyways, good luck tonight, and we're going to let you get ready to go green.
Look forward to it and getting the best win between me and Daha. I mean, he's definitely earned, if he gets it done tonight, 3 wins, maybe even a 4th, you never know. But I mean, just an honor to be here, and no matter what happens, obviously I'll be looking to move up to B, so I'm excited for my future.
Yeah, you guys are seeing it here. 25 drivers in the lobby. I'm about to back out. Not Daha. Ward's going to let me know when I need to accept my invite. So 24 drivers getting ready to go green here at Texas Motor Speedway. Robbie, this is your first time in the booth this season. What are you most excited about?
It's at turn 4, definitely, to see how many people are actually going to spin out, and you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell who's put time into the setup, because later on.
Hold on. Let me get blue screen so I can get in there as quick as I can. They can't hear you while I'm blue screened. I'll tell you when I'm off it. No, you're good. You're good. Thank you. All right, I'm off blue screen. Go ahead, Robbie.
So as I was saying, like turn 4, you definitely going to see who's put time into the setup. But the main thing I am excited about tonight is what the race is going to be like between Word and towards the end of the race.
Yeah, and just so the viewers at home know, there is an 11-point gap between Ward and Daha. So essentially, now don't get me wrong, there is a fastest lap that will give 1 point away. So if Daha is able to get the fastest lap, which we will not know until the end of the race, but if Daha is able to get that, he needs to beat Ward by 5 positions on the track. That's going to be difficult because Ward has finished in the top 5 all season long, every single race. If he does not get the fastest lap, Daha would have to beat Ward by 6 positions, 2 points per position. So if he gets the fastest lap and beats Ward by five positions, that would be a tie. Here at GC Sports, ties are broken by who did better in the final race. Picola, do you think that's manageable or possible here for Daha with 24 drivers on track?
Yeah, I definitely think so. With that many drivers on the track, that was coming into question with this race. Like you were saying, we weren't sure how many people were going to show up, knowing they had advanced and whatnot. But it's good to see everybody out here, and that gives the a shot.
Yeah, right out the gate here, lap 1, True Death is going to be your race leader as they cross the line. But Ward Burton, already knowing what's on the line, he has got to the inside of the 13, having help from DB the Best in that number 20. Your new race leader, the Spire Chevrolet of Ward Burton, number 77, he has taken the lead. And let's keep in mind, Right, so Daha has a big road ahead of him. He's got to beat Ward by 5-6 positions. That means all Ward has to do is essentially finish fourth. But I do want to throw out real quick, if Daha were to win and Ward were to get third, that would actually still be enough points as race winner gets 100 to the 95 for second. So that's actually a 5-point gap. If Daha is able to win, that could be huge. But Daha starts in the 9th position tonight, and he's in that second pack that has already lost this lead pack. So, wait, no, he's that was the 21 I was looking at. He's in that blue 12 right there.
In the, turn 3 and 4 there.
Yeah, the 22 of Blaney already gone down. I was looking
Hey,
at Patton. That's the Daha's in 5th. Sorry, I apologize. I was looking at Patton.
What happens if it comes down to a tiebreaker? Does it come down to most wins?
No, on a tiebreaker here at GC Sports, what we do as a tiebreaker, I don't look at anything other than the race that made it a tie. Whoever had the better finish at the final race is the one that gets the victory. So on your end, Ward, you have to be within those 5 positions of Daha. If he does get the fast lap and beat you by 5 positions, he would be the champion off that sole fact. Although, even if we went off the most wins, I think he would get it. He has 2 or 3. Yeah, he'd have 2 or 3 wins, yeah. But yeah, we try to go...
His way up front quick.
Currently sits in 3rd spot, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we try to go with what you've done recently, not what you've just done, you know what I mean, overall in the season. It's the end of the season type deal. I started that with the playoff aspect, right? When we were doing the playoffs, a lot of people were tying. Well, people race differently once you enter the playoffs, so that's why I added that. Robbie, we've been green for about 5 laps now. What are you seeing that you're liking, and what are you seeing that maybe you're not liking out of some of these drivers?
What I've seen so far, the number 10 of GTR Jacob, he's already got mechanical failure. Another thing I'm not liking so far is that number 1 of Warpig, he's actually looking a little bit loose at the beginning of the run. Hopefully it's just due to his tyres being a bit cold. Once he gets a few laps done, hopefully his tyres will start to warm up and then start to tighten up a bit. But other than that, everybody's just sort of drafting with one another and turning laps here.
B sliders, they were those top 5 were battling it out the first section of the race there. Yeah, I really like the custom side, right? You can tell, other than just throwing in a slider and waiting until that first adjustment, these guys have had all week to be able to work on their setups. 38 of Hellraiser, no, the 38 of, I'm not sure who's in it, but the Jose has gone around on the front stretch right at the line. I'm assuming he got loose off 4 and spun through the grass, but what I was saying is these guys get a whole week to work on their setups, you know, plus we're at the end of the game. The game's been out for a year, so these guys have setups that they should have worked on. At this point, if you're loose and can't handle it, it just shows that you're not putting the work in that's needed to be one of these top 6 guys up here battling for wins and battling to advance to the B. And that we see it week to week. Hopefully, though, these guys, even if their setup is a miss, when this lead pack does catch up to them to lap them, they give the 77 and the 12 some advantage. With no cautions here, you know, you really got to give the leaders room when they come around. The last thing anybody wants to do when you're in this tight of a battle is win or lose the championship, because the lap traffic couldn't hold their line when you got around them and involved a carnage with either yourself or the other competitor.
Not only that, some of these people that are making these setups, a bit of advice I do have for them is, obviously you can make custom setup and you can race the groove. So when you're testing, you got to make sure you're testing the high line, just in case you do get stuck on that high line, and you need to see if it's going to snap loose or not, so you need to keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. While we're in the C group, right, we want to talk to everybody out there in the YouTube land, try to be able to help them out. And what Robbie just said is really, really important. You see it all the time where a driver, when they're in their lane, is doing great. They might be really fast, but then the moment they get into traffic, we say, oh, a person couldn't handle the pressure of being in traffic. That's not usually the situation. In reality, what happens is when they're doing their test runs, they're trying to get the fastest laps throughout a whole run that they can and save their tire wear. But what they do when they test offline is they're running the same groove over and over and over without ever running the outside line, like you said, or at Kansas trying to run the bottom in case you get put down there. You really gotta test the different grooves and make sure that your car will handle it in the instance that you're in traffic. And I'm sure Ward and Daha, you know, Ward, I'll let you speak on it, but I'm sure that that's something that these guys do, because these guys are battling side by side week in and week out, and especially here at Texas with the championship on the line, you have to give it everything you got if you're one of those two and not spin out because you got stuck on the outside for one lap.
Well, indeed, and it's very hard to find that balance here at Texas. You mentioned turn 4, but it honestly does come as the number one focus, I think, when you come here. Because obviously, when you look at other tracks, this track, in my opinion, very similar to Charlotte. And we saw a lot of guys have problems, for example, out of the turn 4 in Charlotte. You know, to me, to play the strategy, you know, make sure you're comfortable. That's the number one key here. And right now, obviously, we saw the 12 get shuffled back for a moment. Now we're starting to see the 20 be the best cycle back to the 4th spot. I think we're starting to see a bit of guys lose that comfort here towards the middle of the run. And there's one thing I want to point out, too. Currently, we sit around 60% on our tires, about 17 laps on gas. We're going to see a mix of strategies starting from about lap 26 all the way to lap 32 to open up this run. Some guys can go long on fuel. Some guys are going to opt for short pit. With that being said,
hold on just a second, not to cut you off, but I want both you and the viewers at home to know the 12, the guys second in points, is now running second in the race to our points leader, Daha, so the top 2 in points. The guys battling it out for the title are running 1 and 2. Back over to you, Ward.
Dude, but obviously, they say the strategy is going to come to the critical key. Yes, you can have your balance, but for example, you look at Daha Jr., looks like he's real strong in the gears, you know, very high up. Looks like his car has a lot of stuff. Doesn't mean that he's going to be a strong lead car, however. So I'm very eager to see what the 12 does, and I'm very eager to see in about 10 laps, guys, if he's going to be the first one to hit the pits.
Yeah, something I'm seeing Daha do that I'm not really seeing many of the other drivers. Of course, as I get ready to say this on my screen, he's not doing it, but he's actually running a slightly higher line. He's not trying to paint that white line with his left side tires, and I think it's paying out for him pretty good. He's able to, because of that, he enters the corners a little bit further behind the driver in front of them, and when they slip up, that's how he's really gotten through the traffic, is he's able to get to the bottom as they're drifting up, and it's really panning out for that 12 machine. Ward Burton and Daha, again, these guys are class of the field week in and week out. Behind them, we have DB the Best, we have True Death, and we have Mills Canuck Fast. P. Coley, you haven't necessarily run with a lot of these guys, but is there a surprise out of this top 5 that you're seeing that maybe you're like, hey, I'm surprised to see that guy up there?
No, man, not really. You know, all year long, it seems like to be the guys you got to worry about, right? Any surprises to you?
No, I mean, so it's not a surprise to me, but a lot of people don't know him. The Mills Canuck Fast and that 7 machine back there. Again, back when GC Sports, I'd say originated this. DB the Best through the grass as he goes flying through there with that 20. That's what we talked about, that turn off forward. Oh man, you hate to see that. DB the Best, always one of the top competitors. It seems though like week in and week out something happens to him and it costs him his opportunity at a good run. But back what I was saying, right, so when I first started making leagues or being the CEO of a league, it was Giggity Racing League at the time, and Mills Canuck Fast, he is one of the all-time most race winningest drivers over there on the custom setup side. So the guy knows what he's doing, but a lot of people don't know about him, and he raced at Charlotte the other week. He was one of the top 5 until he started getting loose at the end of the run. So I'm happy to see him up there. Another guy, True Death, people don't know him that well as he runs with Front Row Racing. That's the FRR in his name. He, again, top 5 competitor week in and week out, not usually right on the tail of the leaders. So because of that, you don't necessarily recognize him or see him as a top guy, but all 4 of these drivers up front are exactly who I would expect to see up here, with DB the Best, who lost it, and Hunty Wild back there, who's just outside the draft, trying to get back in there.
And just even in that second group right there, they were linked up a little bit better than they are now, but you had Street Machine, Pat, Memphis Phoenix, The Guardian, and 34, Mac Attack?
Mac Attack, yeah. He's that's another one of those drivers that comes from Front Row Racing. Bad Fast Marley, one of our B group racers.
But all those guys are usually up front too, right?
Yeah. I mean, Mac Attack's fairly new. I haven't seen him up front here at
That's
GC.
The one.
Yeah.
But every other one I said, you see him up front every week.
Yeah, I mean, Patton is the most winningest driver in GC Sports right now, and that comes from both the sliders and the custom side. The guy has 17 wins after last night. So, I mean, he didn't win last night, but after up to date right now, he's got 17 wins in this league in 2 seasons. I mean, the guy's crazy fast, and he's out off pace right now. I mean, that goes to show how fast this front four is going. Robbie, what are you watching out there?
I'm just watching Patton and Street Machine. I've been for a few laps. It seems like Street has actually got a really solid car. I don't think he's got the gearing quite right, but I think he's definitely got a long car. And I reckon he's probably going to get top 5 tonight if he could stay out of trouble.
I like it. I'm a little jealous of him. As everybody knows, I like to run the 37, and I have the season pass, so I don't know why, but I do not have that paint scheme for the 37 car. So, like Street Machine, he's a top runner, but I hate him because he has paint scheme that for some reason I don't have.
Jealousy gets you nowhere.
Yeah, well, because of that, I run a Velveeta mac and cheese car.
That's a good one, but that blue one's really sharp.
Yeah, honestly, I like the all-star scheme for him. The black and pink 37 is, there's no beating it. Duh, to the inside of the 77. Second place in points is now trying to become your race leader, and this may seem silly, but again, we talked about he would need to make up 11 points. That's 5 positions on the track, but this right here is the most important position if possible. That is a 5-point gap right there between him and Ward. If anything were to happen to Ward on pit road, say he loses 3-4 spots, that's going to be the difference between him and the 12. Ward right now obviously running right on the back end of that 12 machine, doing what he needs to do. The 77, there's no reason to be alarmed. You know, the 12 got around him. He's kind of been methodical all race long, and even if the 12 wins the race, the championship could go to the 77. So no reason to be alarmed if you are Ward Burton. But the best move you could do right now if you're the 12 is say, hey, I'm here to win this. This is my title.
Right. And to Ward's point, you know, earlier he was just saying he was eager to see how Duha would do in being the lead car. So he could be trying to just fill it out right here, you know.
Yeah, well, something that's huge though, right? So if Ward were to be running in 4th right now, right, that would be a 10-point difference, because it's 5 points from 1st to 2nd, then it's 3 points from 2nd to 3rd, and then it's another 2 from 3rd to 4th, right? But that is 10 points. So if Ward were to finish 4th right now and Duha were to somehow get the fastest lap, right, these 4 cars running right here, Ward can't even fall to the last one of that group. Like that's how crazy and tight this points battle is for these guys. You know, when I say 11 points, people are like, oh, 11 points is a lot. Like Ward's got this wrapped up. You don't. I mean, 4 positions on track could be what decides the title. But yeah, the 12, like Ward was saying, does he have a lead car? Right now, he's looking pretty good. Ward did something I haven't seen anybody do yet, and that was look to the outside of the 12. So I don't know if maybe he feels like the 12's holding him up, or if he's just testing him to see what he's got for later.
We got one of the top 4 making their pit entry here.
Was that True Death? Yeah.
Must have been True Death, yeah.
True Death, Hunty Wild, and Patton has gone down the pit road.
Yeah, the guy that didn't want to see that probably is that 7. Luckily, these guys are on normal drafts, so you can suck back up a little bit. But True Death was running in 3rd. Mills was running in 4th. With how tight the 12 and the 77 are, it's really easy right now for that 7 to lose the draft. If he gets loose on exit or doesn't hit his marks right now, he could lose the draft, and that would actually play into the hands of Ward Burton if he could separate this group a little bit. Oh, big wreck!
Are you kidding me?
The 3 comes out on the racetrack in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Luckily, that was a big deal, right? But all 3 of our race leaders are still all together. What I do think is going to happen right now is who does that play in the best hands of? FRR True Death. He's going to have the big advantage now. He pit was not involved in that, has the fresher tires for a few laps. That right there probably just cost these guys about 2 seconds on the track. We talked about it. It's a honest mistake. That happens to people, right? But this is why you test. Big championship race. No reason to be coming on the track in front of your championship runners and your race leaders and causing carnage like that.
Yeah, this is a really hard pit exit to get on the track without, you know, losing time. You want to stay in it as long as you can, but man, you'll come out there on that track like you just saw there.
Yeah, you really hate it, but in reality, and it doesn't matter who you are, even if you're a race leader, you don't want to come on the track. And not only are you worried about affecting the other drivers, but you come out on the track and you get rear-ended like that, it affects you just as much. I don't know where Rubbinham is, but as far as the points are concerned, he is the guy running in 15th on that bubble mark. He had a 19-point gap, so I was calling it pretty good. That he was pretty safe. But an incident like that could drop you to, I think, 23 drivers still on track. And the guy behind you gets a top 10 now, and you're the guy on the outside in when you had a 19-point advantage entering the race. Over to you, Robbie.
So Warburton's just come out of pit road, and behind him he's got the 42 of Hunty Wild, and behind Hunty I think that's PVT Patton. I think just in front of him he's got True Death. He looks to be about 2-3 seconds in front of him.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Another driver coming right up on track.
The 6 car that almost just wrecked the 2.
Yeah, I was riding along with that. I was riding along with that. I actually seen it. The 6 just coming off pit road a lap or so ago, and he's one of our newer guys. Unfortunately, I guess he doesn't understand what's going on here in the race. But I do want to go with what you were saying, Robbie. The Private Pat in the 21 car, he has now caught up. We didn't even see him in the picture earlier. We talked about the 42 being a little bit out of the draft, and now the 21's on the back bumper of that 42 machine. Private Patton doesn't have 17 wins for nothing. You might think he's out of a race, and it happened last night even. Everybody thought he was out. He was 5-6 seconds back, and he ended up losing. Pete Cola got second, but Patton gets third, and I mean, he was right there at the end. Pit strategy is that guy's forte. That 21 machine, absolutely phenomenal on pit road, as well as always one of the fastest cars on the track.
Yep. And like you said, we have a normal draft. Just 2 people can make up a lot of time now, right? Compared to low draft where you kind of need that third car.
Yeah, well, yes, but this is like tandem racing here. You got the 77 and the 12 together. They've been the top 2 all race long. So, they have speed. This is where you find out what kind of speed you have if you're the 42 and the 21, because 2 on 2 essentially, right? It's like going to Talladega, which group holds the best line, right? So you find out your gear package. Are they breaking in a 10th or so every lap, or are they losing time? And if you're losing time, maybe swap who's in front of who and see if you can pick up time the other way around. But right now, they're hoping that the 77 and the 12 get racing, because you're just not going to make up a lot of time when it's 2 on 2 like this. And I want to throw out there, because you said something, I want to throw it out there. On low draft, you do get draft with 2 cars. I heard a lot of complaints about that last night in the slider group, and I mean, I run it on both sliders and customs, as do you. You do get draft with 2 people. It doesn't pop up on your deal.
You do go
but
faster, yeah.
You do pick up a 10th or 2 tenths. So it does work. It just doesn't visually show it on your RPM, your speedometer. So that's the difference. Back here, Rubbinham riding around with Mills. I'm not so sure that Mills didn't get a pit road speeding penalty, because he's not near any of the... Who you got as the race leader there, Ward? Is it you?
The answer is it's FRR True Death in the 13. That's about 7 tenths. And by the way, you guys mentioned the gap. Well, both 12 and I have gained about 7-8 tenths in the last 3 laps over the 2 guys that short pitted, and now we start closing on our lead from 13.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot the 13 did the short pit, and when he did the short pit, it actually got him, like I said, I mean, the next lap after the 13 pit is when that incident happened with the race leaders in that 3 car. So, unlucky for the 13. He did do the short pit by himself. Because of that, he doesn't have the draft that the 77 and the 12 do. I think that we've seen it last night and we've seen it on Monday. The tires mean so much at this track that I don't think he was going to be able to hold him off anyways. But if he had another car helping him, I think it would have taken him a little bit longer to get to him. Unfortunately, right now, that 13 is a sitting duck, but only being a couple laps earlier than these guys, he might be able to hang on to the draft when they do get around. Run out their fuel every time. 13 is going to fall victim to this every pit cycle, which should be just one more pit stop.
Well, the other drivers who came down pit road with was PVT Patton and Hunty Wild, which is another 2-car pack we have just behind Warburton and Durhurst. So it'd be interesting to see if he just lines up with them and see if they can get a 3-car draft going to the next pit stop.
Yep. Sorry, Pete, I took your line.
3 seconds back, though.
Yeah, and that gap seems to be getting larger. But again, the short pit, that you got the two guys that had the freshest tires. They're hooked up. As soon as they come out of pit road, it might not be that big of a deal. But now as your tires start getting worn, I just don't see it happening. And also the 21 has gotten by the 42 of Hunty Wild. That is for 4th place. Like I said earlier, sometimes if you're not making up time, you just got to swap it around and see if you can go faster. And Patton clearly thought he could go faster as the lead car, so he's gotten around the 42 of Hunty Wild, and they're trying to push forward now. We have another pit stop to go here tonight, right? So I want to try to go through the field real quick. Going to start with the pole sitter, hit exit. So this is also how they qualified. We have the 13 of True Death, 42 car, that's Hunty Wild. I like to give everybody at least a couple seconds airtime, you know what I mean? So Ward Burton, of course, he's your race leader. You've heard of him. DB the Best, he went flying through the infield earlier tonight. Mills Canuck, I'm thinking he sped on pit road. Blaney in the 22 had that crash earlier. 16 a Guardian, always a top 5 competitor, and he's actually running just outside that now in 6th place. He's behind Patton and Hunty there. Let's see, Patton, of course, he's running with Hunty. Duh, we've talked about him. Jose Protege, he spun on the front stretch earlier. Street Machine, that beautiful 37. Mac Attack, one of our newer drivers. Memphis Phoenix showed up to all but one race. Really puts in effort, and I know he tests. I've worked with him on testing. He just gets a little unlucky at these races. 66 Palm Coaster is, I think he started last week. He's out of the race. Tiller in the 24. Rubbing him. We've seen his issues in front of the leader. Keith shows up every week. Tries to run well. This 2 Machine. War Pig, a little loose tonight. Dave Ace, newcomer. Jacob out of the race. Hellraiser in the 19. NASCAR 82 FK. Do NASCAR WPS out of the race, and back to True Death. So we're going to go to our race leader, who is now Duh Jr., second in points by 11. We talked about it all night long, and we're going to continue. Duh really needs somebody else to get on this strategy with him and Ward. He's beating Ward, but it's just not going to be enough at this point. He really needs the 13 of True Death to be able to stay up there, and he needs that Patton and Hunty to do something to make this a 5-6 car battle. Robbie, I'm going to go over to you. Are you still watching the race leaders, or what are you doing right now?
I've just switched back over to the race leaders. I was just wondering where Street Machine is, because he was with PBT Patton and Hunty Wild, but he stayed out. I think he stayed out too long, to be honest, and now I'm not too sure where he's sitting, but he was sitting on his own around the track.
Yeah, I don't think there's such thing as staying out too long here at Texas. When your tires start getting wore, we've seen it the last couple nights. If you're the guy on the track with the freshest tires, you're going so much faster than the rest of the field that it may not look at it when you first come out of the pits, but it really pays dividends to be the guy with the fresh tires at the end of a run. You agree, Picola?
Heck yeah, man. After my second pit stop, I think it was, I went from 9th to 4th in one run because I stayed out longer than everybody. Damn sure it wasn't because I was fast. Sorry for my language.
I think that's legal. You can say that.
This 13, I mean, he did everything he could to hang on there. He's just not quite got enough to hang with him.
Well, and that's what I was saying about the War tires, right? Like, if he was even 2 lap older tires than what these guys are paid, about 4 or 5 laps before these guys, and that's the difference, you know. The draft is on normal, so it's pretty strong, especially here in Texas. It's one of the stronger draft tracks, and that shows how important tires are here. I mean, these two are just taking off, and he should have by right been able to get in behind them and utilize that draft, but he just doesn't have enough in the tires to be able to stay with them.
And it looks like Pat and Hunty have fallen about another second back, 4 seconds back now.
Yeah,
yep,
I think
you hit it directly on the nose. My apologies.
No, you're good. I think their only hope is the moment pit window opens, they need to get in there, and they need to get in there together and hope that they can not only catch these leaders, but extend that lead 5-6 seconds and start you know, when these guys get to him, you know, maybe start doing some side-by-side racing, make it hard for them to get through. But in all reality, I think this race is going to come down to Daha and Ward, and that's the last thing Daha wants. You know, I'm sure he's enjoying the battle between him and Ward, but with only 2 cars up here, there's nothing Daha can do more than what he's doing. You know, he's the race leader. The problem is that the guy that he needs to make up more than one position of points is sitting right there behind him. So always fun watching these two. Ward, are you? I'm assuming you're not going to push the issue at all. Hoping, you know what I mean. You don't want to wreck, right? So are you basically on a Sunday?
Not. I think. Oh, I apologize. I thought you were done. I was a little cut out there. You know, I'm not pushing the issue. I think Daha Jr. has 1 lap fresher tires than me. So that plays a little bit of a factor. Obviously, I can continue to push. I feel like my car honestly is a better of a push car than it is a lead car. But with his high gear, and remember how I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, I'm interested to see what he does in the lead. Well, his high gear makes him a little bit tougher to be out there in front of a lead car. So right now, not pushing the envelope, trying to really keep the gap over those guys in older tires. And really trying to figure out when this 12 is going to come down for his final pit stop, because that's going to decide when I come down for my last one.
Yeah, so if you're Ward right now, you're basically on a Sunday drive. You just want to cruise, you want to stay with the 12, you want to extend the gap, just as you were saying, Ward, to the viewers at home, right, that might be trying to figure out, like, how do I get the strategy that these guys do, right? If you're the 77, there's no reason to push the issue. The race right now will come down to you and Daha. Maybe on the last lap you make a move, but there's no reason to until then, right? You're just doing nothing but taking all the other drivers out of the race. If you're Daha with the fresher tires, you're hoping that the 77 maybe gets loose on exit. Maybe you want to try to start breaking the draft, you know, something like that to make 77 fall off out of your draft, where you can then pull away, and the other cars that are maybe, you know, Patton and Hunties that are two on one at that point, they could maybe utilize that draft to catch Ward. But as it sits right now, I mean, these guys are both doing everything that you could want to do if you're in their position.
We talked about how it's pretty hard to get on pit road here. Get a speeding penalty, you can spin out, you know. Something like that.
Hey, listen,
not over yet.
We talked about how Patton's one of the absolute best on pit road, on his strategies, one of the fastest. He's got the most wins in all of GC Sports. Last night, entering pit road at the same track on the slider side, he got loose and almost spun out. Cost him like 5-6 seconds trying to do pit road. So this is not an easy task, getting off and on pit road, you know, especially if you're Daha, right? You gotta signal, you gotta hope that if you pit before Ward, you're at the mercy of the guy behind you, as I've fallen victim to multiple times this season. When you go to pit, if the guy behind you doesn't get on the brakes in time, they could bump you and you get a speeding penalty at no fault of your own. Not that Ward would do that, you know, I'm just saying, for example, it happens.
Sorry.
Rubbing him on pit road again. Last time he went to pit road and came off pit road, he collected the leaders. So because he's on pit road, I'm expecting the leaders here within 3-4 laps. Ward?
I would say that's fair. Again, it really comes down to what the 12 strategy is, honestly. I personally have about 6 laps on gas, but we're starting to see our first pit stops of the group of leaders. The 13 has come down as well as Private Patton. So I would expect here within maybe the next 2 to 3 laps, we're going to start seeing both me and the 12 to hit the pits.
Yeah, the Guardian also on pit road. He was running in that 6th position. So you got Patton, True Death, Guardian. Those guys are on pit road, have already come off pit road. So, I mean, on their end, really, right? So they're still battling for third. Get a podium finish the season on a high note, get ready to go to the B group next season, you know. These two are battling for a championship, right? But everybody else is out there still trying to get the best finish they possibly can.
So we just talked about pit road being hard.
Mm-hmm.
Pat, on his stream, I'm watching it. He entered pit road, he got inside the box, but it didn't register for him, so he had to go around again.
Oh man, I hate that when that happens. And so that some know that tends to happen on this game when your right sides catch that orange square. It tends to make it like you're in the box, but the game gives it that glitch where it doesn't register it. So you have to just speed on down pit road, get back on track, and pit the next lap. That's really miserable when you're going to run out of fuel. I've seen that happen so many times, cost somebody a race because it doesn't register. They run out of fuel by the time they get out of the pit road, trying to go around again, and it's just horrible. Hunty, his pit stop looks to be good. The 16 of the Guardian, he's cruising. He's actually caught True Death and is only about, looks like about a half a second behind or so. And Hunty Wild now with fresher tires should catch them and probably push the 16 up to True Death. So, man, we talked about how Guardian here lately has been, I mean, he's been absolutely phenomenal. You know, he's not up there winning the races like Ward and Daha, but I mean, this guy's a podium finisher week in, week out. You know, he's challenging for it. So I'm really excited to see what he does as he continues his GC career here.
It's hard to get a win in this group, man, ain't it?
Yeah, I mean, and think this is entry level. You know, we shared the YouTube into the C group chat for next season that, you know, the newer drivers are in, that they haven't been a part of the races yet, and one of the guys has already commented on there saying, "Wow, I definitely got to start working on my setups for next season." After getting ready to come to pit road, the 12 coming in hot. I don't know that the 12 just got down to his speed limit. He was coming in really hot, got a big gap over the 77. When he pulled over, he was still a little on the high side. Luckily, it registered, but I think the 12 was going a little too fast when he entered pit road.
Well, we shall find out in a moment.
Robbie, as someone that races in the C group on Monday, right? Now, you do know a lot of the drivers, so it's a little bit different. This isn't just a brand new league for you, right? You've been a part with us since we started, but is it intimidating when you join a league that has 20 plus drivers on the track? I mean, we've seen one, maybe two incidents, but with no cautions here, right? It doesn't help anybody as far as getting a caution. But is it intimidating when you join a league, and even if you're one of the faster guys, all of a sudden you're in a league that everyone on the track could be competing on a week in and week out basis?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I joined the sliders on Monday, I thought, oh, this would be quite easy. Boy, I was wrong. These guys on the sliders, with what the game gives you, they are so quick, it is unreal. And I'm like, I have no idea how they do it on a slider. Customs is a bit different, that's more my thing, but sliders, no idea. They are so fast, and it's really, really competitive.
Just a quick update. I was wrong about the 12 getting a speeding penalty. He got out, and not only did he get out, but he has a huge lead over the 77. And between him and the 77 is the 13 and the 16. So if these guys were to get racy or the 77 unable to get by them, Daha right now is in the championship position. But Ward, how many laps you got left if you get the opportunity to let me know?
We have, I believe, 21 laps to go. So opportunity, especially for the second pack. I'm looking at it. Obviously, I'm working low right now, but it's more of the opportunity of picking up this pack and saying, hey guys, we have a chance to catch this leader. He's 2.5 seconds ahead. Let's use this draft and bring ourselves back into this race. Good entry, by the way, I mentioned to the ballpark.
Yeah, this is the 13 and the 16. They pit a little early, so they're going to lose the 77 here. But once about 6-7 laps into the run, using the draft, they should actually be able to catch back up or at least gain some of the time back. So, yeah, good stop by those guys. Somebody else I just noticed coming off pit road in what is now 5th place, but the 7 of Mills, he actually pit the latest, so he has the freshest tires with 20 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. But up front, we have the 12 of Daha in front of the points leader, the 77 of Ward Burton, and I don't see anything changing anytime soon. But the 12 did his job, got in and off pit road. He has a big gap over the guy in the points lead, so I can't speak highly enough about Daha. He's running a phenomenal race here tonight, and he has all season. He's got 3 wins, looking for his 4th one, or 2 wins, looking for his 3rd one here at Texas, and the season finale.
But guys, I do want to raise this question real quick as we come to about 18 laps to go. This is the first time we've seen both Daha and I spread out. And obviously Daha's been real fast, but the question is now, what fuel did he take? Did he take 2 cans? Did he take a can and a half? I personally have gained about a 10th a lap on him right now. Could it be his car struggling, or could it be the gas? And will that come to play, especially with the laps winding down and lap traffic?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of things, you know. You never know if maybe he tightened his car up, maybe it was a little free at the end of the run, or knowing that it was going to be a little bit shorter, he decided to loosen it up, and it's not liking it here on the early runs. But one thing that's going to play a huge role in that 77 catching the 12 is there's 4 lapped cars in front of the 12 right now. Sure, he can use them for draft as he drives it in deep and gets into the 3 of rubbing them, but yeah, whenever you got to pass these lap cars, you really have to be very, very careful. As we see the 1 get loose and the 24 get underneath him, so they're side by side right now in front of the 12. And even though he's the race leader, one of these guys makes a mistake, and it could ruin your race and your season if you are the 12 car right now.
Man, that was tight.
Yeah, I mean, inside the 1 and then on exit he goes to the outside of the 24. Of course, he probably has the fresher tires of that group. Also, I mean, he's been a dominant car tonight. And to go with what you were saying, Ward, you know, this is the first time we've seen you guys separated, and this really the first time we've seen the 12 without a drafting partner. We've seen what that car does with the draft and how fast it can be. But yeah, you gain in a 10th or so. This is really when you find out which one of you has the raw speed in your setup.
I'm watching the 12 go around the track, and he is actually looking a bit more loose now than what he was earlier on in the run. Is that because he's not in drafting anymore, or is it because he's on his own?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He does seem to be a lot looser, and I know that a lot of times, right, with cautions on, you loosen your car up if it's only going to be a say 5-6 lap shootout. You know, you're going to loosen your car up because you had it built for the long run or something like that. And so this is 20 laps to go on a 30 lap fuel tank, right? You 2/3 of the stage, maybe you didn't start breaking out till like lap 24, so you loosen it up a hair because you can afford to be that. But it doesn't seem that 12 car is as dominant as he was before. However, it's hard to argue with he's still dominant, as he still has a big lead over the 77 Ward Burton.
What position is Mills in?
He was in 5th. I don't know if he got by the 13 or the...
Yep,
He is not in the top 5 at the moment. Guardian currently sits in 3rd. FR True Death is in 4th. And then Honey Wild is in 5th position, about 7.9 seconds back off your lead.
So if that's the case, Mills is a lap down, so he must have had a speeding penalty or something earlier and been involved in a wreck. That's interesting, because he definitely had one of the strong cars earlier.
I was just interested because you were saying he stayed out the longest, how much ground he would have made up, you know.
Well, apparently none. He lost a lap. The 16 Guardian got around True Death. These guys pit together, but looks like the 16 starting to pull that 13, getting a little bit of a gap that I don't know if the 13 is still in the draft or not. Looking pretty close there. So, man, I like this Guardian guy. I don't know a whole lot about him other than seeing him on custom nights. He's a really quiet guy in the chat, so I don't know a whole lot about the guy, but I'm starting to like him week in and week out. He's getting faster and faster. And that's a comfortability, right? Over to you, Robbie, right? So the more you drive with a group, like we were talking about, a newcomer that doesn't really know a whole lot about the drivers, they're looking for a league, they feel like they're competitive, they run a little bit off pace even to their own rate when they first start, and then as you get used to the drivers, you start, you know, picking up tempo a little bit more, pushing it a little harder around this guy or that guy, right?
Yep.
Good talk, Robbie. I don't even think P. Cola's done that once tonight. I don't think he's pulled the up card on me.
Nope.
By the way, guys, we've just hit 9 laps to go in the final race of this C Custom season.
Do you think you're going to get him in time?
It's going to be tight. It's going to definitely be tight. The one benefit he's had is the lap traffic is definitely, I don't want to say giving him a lot more room, because they've given me a respectable amount of room, but rather they've been able to kind of pull him along a little bit when he's gotten up to them, whereas right now I'm currently trying to work not just up to him. Now I've cut the gap down to about 1.8 seconds, which is still a lot of time considerably with 7 laps to go. But all he needs is a little bit of a hesitation on a lap car that may have better tires than him, and it can change up this race drastically.
Yeah, I like to do this every race, and I had forgotten, but as we're getting to the end, that should be 6 laps to go. We're going to ride along with the 12 of Daha. He is your race leader, been up front a long time, so that the viewers at home can kind of hear some throttle control and stuff like that the leaders do. We're going to do a GC rev it up here. Alright, that was about 3/4 of the track. You could, actually, that was really cool. We rode with him through 3 and 4, and then again 1 and 2, and you could actually hear him feathering the throttle through the 2 corners in the center, so that was a good one. There's the 12 seeming to not just lift and then get right back on it. He's kind of burping it and throttling it, half throttle through the corner. So the 12, fast car to any of the viewers trying to learn how to run Texas, that's a good guy. He's one of the fastest, of course, and so that's how you run this track at Texas. Scrolling through the field real quick as we have 4 laps remaining, right?
Coming to 4.
Coming to 4 this time, okay. So 4 laps to go. Can Ward Burton somehow catch that 12 car? I feel like that's a really big gap. But Daha is still in traffic racing with some guys that are racing each other. Right there behind him we have the 38 of Jose Protege. We seen him get loose and end up spinning earlier. So the 12 definitely hoping something like that does not happen here while he's dealing with the lap traffic. But anything could happen as there's 3 laps to go at Texas. Picola, you think the 12's pretty well got this in hand, or you think the 77's got a good shot?
Yeah, it looks like 12's probably got this one in hand, but I can't tell who. Oh my goodness.
Who was that all the way down at the apron?
That would be the 34. I don't quite know who that was.
Makatek in you is his name.
Oh, here comes 19 car as well.
Oh man, that's Hellraiser in the 19. He collects the 34. We are at the end of the run, like we talked about. Did these guys try to take 2 tires? Maybe they're starting to pop tires or something. I don't know. But we talked about it. If you're in front of the race leaders or around them, that was crazy. Ward probably is happy that he wore the brown pants, as that went crazy quick.
If he gets taken out right there, he probably loses the championship.
Yeah. If Ward was involved in that, yeah, definitely. The championship would have ended up going to Daha. We're coming to 2 laps to go here, and Ward is at this point trying to survive and make sure he doesn't see any more of that happening.
White flag just for the...
Oh, so I'm wrong again. Shocker. Daha Jr. taking the white flag here at Texas Motor Speedway in the C Custom Group. He's going down the backstretch, dealing with lap traffic. I don't know if I'd even make a move if I was him, but he's going to. He goes to the inside of the 41. Ward Burton dealing with do back there in the 17. Looked like the 12 caught the apron a little bit. Exiting turn 4, going through the tri-oval. Your race winner is going to be, for the 3rd time this season, Daha Jr. as he kicks it down a gear to spin himself out, because you know that's the only burnout you can do here. Ward Burton's going to round, or he's going to get 2nd, and running out your top 3, I believe, is going to be the Guardian. You'll have to give me verification on that, Ward.
That would be correct.
All right,
By the way,
right.
I do want to give some credit as well. How about Memphis Phoenix? You guys talked about him. 7th place result, keeping that car clean. And, you know, we mentioned Private Patton missing the pits. He rebounded all the way back up to the 8th position, guys. So another top 10 DB best. He gets 9th with that accident early on. Only 10 cars, when it's all said and done, to finish on the lead lap here tonight to that.
How many did you say finish on the top 10 on the lead lap?
10 cars, and also another one too, I should say, I gotta give credit to Street Machine. He comes home as well in the 6th spot, not 37 that you're so jealous of.
Yeah, that is a nice car, just saying. Alright, so obviously we'll be getting to you here in a few minutes, Ward. I'm actually going to go with you last with the interviews tonight, even though you're obviously the first one in here. Joining us in the booth already, we have the Guardian. Give me just a second, I'll do the interview. I have to get this picture of the fast lap. Man, poor Daha. He done everything he could, but what a season by these guys. And like I'd said, look, fast lap does go to Daha. So, back that
Them
Robbie.
6-shooters, baby. Woo! Woo! How about that Texas native getting that last Texas right? Woo! Hell yeah.
Who was that? Was that Daha joining?
Yes, man. I'm sorry. I'm excited, bro. I'm so excited that I won that race.
You're good, bud. You scared me a little bit.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know Ward won the championship, man. Congratulations. I don't know how much he won it by, but God,
Hold on,
that was fun.
Well, the answer would be with that bonus point, it would be 3 points. Because a
Bonus
5-point
point?
gap, yeah, well, for fastest lap.
Who had fastest lap?
You
You
did.
did.
Oh, for real?
So 3 points was the difference between first and second for the championship.
All right, guys, hold on. Hey, hold on, guys, real quick. Let me get this. Let me get Guardian in here, and then we'll be chatting with you guys.
Sorry.
Guardian, hey, you're good. I understand the excitement. Guardian, you got your voice set to always loud.
Yes, sir.
All right, man, third place finish, another podium. Again, at the beginning of the season, we didn't get to talk to you a whole lot, but here, as of late, you have become one of the guys that everybody's got to keep their eye on as we get to the B group. We didn't really see you up front at the first part of the race, but you were definitely there at the end. Go through your race and what strategy got you into third.
Yeah, it definitely didn't start out the way I wanted. I couldn't really hold the bottom. I don't know why. I got caught on the outside for a while, and then the 12 got into me a little bit when I know he was a lot faster and he wanted to go. He kind of moved me up, and I got stuck on the outside again. And I honestly, I don't think I was the fastest car being out front. I think I was holding up the guys that were behind me. And then I think once I latched on to the pack in front of me when I ran behind them, I think it helped me a lot. Just helped me gain time, helped me run their line, learned a little bit about what my car was doing, and yeah, happy to run third. I don't know how I wasn't speeding on the last pit stop. I was trying to gain all I could on the 21, and I had him locked up, and I saw he missed pit road, and I'm glad I didn't do that, but I don't know how I wasn't speeding. I got really lucky.
Man, I talked about in the chat, we were talking about you a little bit, or during the stream, sorry, and you don't talk much on the Facebook chat or in the PSN chat, so I don't really know a lot about you. And the first half of the season, again, you weren't struggling to get good finishes. You just weren't quite there finishing in the podium, so I didn't even chat with you here in the post-race interviews. But slowly but surely, I mean, you're really becoming one of my favorite guys to watch out there. We don't see you on stream at all, and then as I'm strolling through, and I'm seeing the guys in first and second, I can see that black and yellow 16 just close behind them. So I really am excited to see what you got in your GC Sports career. Is now you're getting ready to run in the B group next season with cautions. We're gonna have stages and a playoff. So does that give you a different mentality in the racing, knowing that the style of racing will be different?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm honestly really looking forward to having some cautions and some stages. I'm really happy that I'm able to advance to the B group. That's pretty exciting, and yeah, it's definitely going to make you race a lot differently. You have to go with 150% intensity from lap 1 in these races with no cautions, and you can't let one little mistake happen. If you hit the wall, you get in one little accident, you're already behind the 8 ball, and then you got to try a different fuel strategy to try to get back up there, and it brings a whole different aspect to it. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to having cautions and stages, being able to work on your car a little bit more, and yeah, I'm really excited to start the B group next year.
All right, well, again, for me, that's congratulations. Pico, you got anything for Guardian?
No, man. You're so impressive every week. Start to see you up there. Congratulations, man, on making it to B group. And I expect to see you in the podium week to week up there, too.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Look forward to next year.
Robbie, you got anything? This is your first time getting to see the Guardian. You got anything for him?
I just want to say congratulations on a top 3 finish, bud. And I think you've raced in a few other leagues beforehand. I mean, the racing here is quite competitive, I know. So how would you compare it here to any other league that you've raced in, and what you're looking forward to moving up into B?
It's super competitive. It seems, there's a handful of guys that, like, I'll get to a track where I'll think, all right, I think I can beat these guys here. I'm pretty good here, and I'll get there and it's not even close. I might run third or fourth, but there's still that little hump that I still got to try to get better at, and learn the shortcuts that they're running. And yeah, it's super competitive. I've done a couple other leagues, and they're super competitive too, but this one is right up there as well. It's I know Aquataddy worked really hard at getting the group of guys in here, and girls to get in here to run well and to race competitively. And I think I think he did a good job.
I appreciate that, man. Well, all right, we're going to be moving on. So that was the Guardian, third place finisher here at Texas Motor Speedway. That is his third podium of the season. Now we're going to go to our race winner. But second place in the points by 4 points. Ward. Congratulations, Daha. First off, the victory. Let's talk about the race itself. You did everything you possibly could. I mean, you started ninth. You had a little bit of a deficit to go through. You passed 8 drivers, one of them being Ward Burton, the guy you were battling in the points. You two separated from the rest of the field, and then come the final stop, you separated yourself from him. Just go through. Were you pretty confident that you had a fast car, or were you kind of shaking at the bit a little bit there on track?
No, I mean, I was pretty confident that I had a fast car. Normally on stuff like this, man, I get pretty nervous. And today I was calm and cool. Every time I thought about it, I was like, man, I really think I can win this race, But I knew the only person I had to beat was Ward, In order to win this championship, I knew he probably had to finish third, and I had to get fastest lap, pole, and win it. But I failed on getting the pole. Every time I was getting a run on somebody, they would pull down, go in the pit, and I never could get a clean lap. But as far as the race goes, let's see here. Yeah, we took off, and I mean, we went straight to the front. I was trying to be very, very cautious. I mean, I'd be out of the gas, and a car would just roll right up behind somebody. I got to apologize to the 16, the 13, and the 22 within the first 3 laps, man. I mean, I lightly bumped them, but it was just enough to send them up out of the groove. And I wasn't in the gas when I touched them. I was off of the gas. But, man, that thing just rotated the corner so good. And decided just to be patient, right along, try to save as much fuel as possible. That way, when everybody let them do their pit stops, then I can go do mine and have fresher tires to see if it would work out. Going to the last pit stop, I seen Ward. He ducked it down, and I was going to wind up pitting the next lap, and I decided to go ahead and pit. And I had a good pit road entry. I don't know what happened to him, but all of a sudden I was like 2.5 seconds ahead of him. I have no idea what happened to him, but whatever it was, I'm glad it did.
Oh, yeah, by the way, not signaling that you were going to pit, that's 10-point penalty.
Sorry.
I'm just messing with you. Again, you did a great job. You might have moved the wrong cars there on the first 3 laps. You might have tried to get to the 77 and move him back, make him deal with the traffic. But other than that,
was really the only dude I really didn't want to touch the whole race was the 77. I did not want to touch him.
From my perspective, all season long, the two of you guys. Of course, there was other drivers with wins. Private Patton got a victory. This being your third, which also you get to run tomorrow night. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was thinking that throughout the race. I said that at one point. So you won half the season and still couldn't get the title, right? So you do get to run. You do get to run the B group tomorrow night at Texas, of course. But all season long, man, I want to say it was a blast being able to see the likes of you and Ward Burton, you at Watkins Glen with Hunty battling it out for the race win. You just had a phenomenal season, and just like I was saying to Guardian. You're kind of new to me as a CEO and running in the leagues, but you're not new to me as I've raced with you before, and I'm really excited to see what you can do here at GC Sports racing against some of the best custom setup drivers there are, and you're proving to be a force to mess with already.
I appreciate that, man. I really do. Yeah, I like how y'all have everything set out, man. It's really cool the way that y'all have it. The C group, the B group, and even though that B group right now has pro leaguers in it, they're not the A group. They still have to work for that. So that's much respect right there.
Yeah, that took a little bit of hard work to get people to say, yeah, I'll come join the C group when they're established as pro leaguers. But yeah,
Right.
uh, again, congratulations on the season. And Pico, you got anything for Daha?
Kind of like what Robbie was saying. I'm sure you've been in plenty of leagues on this game. How does it rank, you know, compared to them, and how do you feel you stack up in this league headed to B group?
Man, the B group's very, very tough. They kick my ass, excuse my language, every time I go in there and race with them guys. I think the best finish I've got with them is fifth or sixth. So I still got my work cut out. Still got to adjust on setups, figure out how to get a little bit faster. But as far as GC Sports goes, man, I love it. I mean, this is definitely a number one league for sure.
Well, you put on a heck of a show all season long, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to Flash Mafia, Flash 9, KB Showtime.
I was hoping to not hear that one
Far
week.
I want to give a shout out to Far Forever. My mom and my dad. I gotta say, my mom, man, she griped at me a couple of weeks ago for not mentioning her name because she watches the broadcast too. So, hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. It was a good season. Congratulations to Ward Burton on your championship, and ready to see what the next season is up for us.
Robbie, over to you. Do you have anything for him before we send Daha on his way to sulk in second place?
Should have wrecked his ass. No, I'm just kidding. You put on a great performance all night, and you played a real patient game, and it can be quite tedious, knowing that the points are so close. But I've got a lot of respect for you for racing the way you did, and I look forward to racing against you not only tomorrow night but next season.
Well, I appreciate that, brother. Dang, I had one more thing I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was, and it was pretty important. That's what it was. All right. So our lap cars guys for tonight, much respect. Much respect for the lap car guys pulling over, leaving it up to me and Burton, not trying to race us or pull down or move up out of the way. It was very, very courteous. Much respect.
Yeah, I would have raced you harder. All right, to the viewers at home, that was your runner-up in the points, but race winner here at Texas. That was Daha Jr. in the number 12 Ford of the Ryan Blaney machine. We're going to go ahead and advance to our runner-up in the race, but winner in the championship. That's Mr. Ward Burton. Right off the back, I got to say you were probably one of the favored drivers entering this season for people that didn't know the other people's names, right? And you probably thought yourself entering this season, hey, I might be able to just blow through this, but you definitely had some competition. Only one win on the season. I have to say that's a shocker, but congratulations nonetheless.
Yeah, thank you. It's to end this season first off as a champion is remarkable because I swear I've probably pulled my best Matt Kenseth impersonation at this point now, where hey, we only win one race and it's at Chicagoland and we can't win anything else. But to say that we're champions is it's a real humbling thing, but at the end of the day, champions championships, but the big picture is, moving up the B group. And, I think Daha just brought that up, the aspect of, hey, I won 4 races, but I've got to continue to get better. And honestly, I think that's the big picture moving forward myself. I don't feel like I don't want to say I haven't worked hard, but I haven't worked as hard as what I've had over the summer. And moving forward, especially with a lot more leagues transitioning back to heat and so on, I need to get back to that tip-top shape that I was. And for me, also, in that translation of racing, obviously I got the race 1B group race earlier in the year in Chicagoland. It's the real deal. And I'm going to need to be on the peak no matter who moves up to A and whatever. Because, for example, Daha kicked my butt the entire year. 4 wins is nothing to be ashamed of. In my opinion, he really should be the champion. But just one race came difference. I think it was Atlanta where he had a outside a top 10 finish, which gave me the advantage because my lowest finish was 5th the whole year. But at the end of the day, I've got to be in tip-top shape for next year and make sure that I'm ready for those long endurance races because I feel like that's where my strong suit is. But I definitely look forward to next season.
Yeah, as a developed driver in the community, right? A lot of people know and not know you necessarily personally, but know your name, have heard of you, have raced against you. Maybe entering this season, right? So you didn't know a whole lot of the names. Of course, you know like Mike RPM, the Bear, Bro Chase, drivers like that, right? So you've been able to race in the C. You've now run in the B that one time, like you said. Were you a little bit more surprised with the competitive level and maybe a few names out there that you were a little shocked on their speed besides Daha, of course?
Yeah, well, first off, those guys you mentioned stink, so there's that. But no, I'm kidding. But the fact of the matter is, I think that the opportunity to the C group is so wonderful because it really does create an opportunity. Just for example, like how Xfinity is in real life to make names and show. I didn't know Daha before the season. That doesn't mean that I don't give everyone the same respect, but the aspect is, hey, I don't know you, I've got to get comfortable with you. And I mentioned many times in past broadcasts, how the first few weeks of the season is not just the talent figuring itself out and, the group of the field separating each other from one another. But it's also getting comfortable with each other and understanding, okay, this guy's good, I can trust this guy, and vice versa. And I could say, duh, one example, Private Patton, obviously, I know he dropped from B because he couldn't commit, but he proves exactly why he's a B or even an A tier driver, in my opinion. Guys like DB that have been around, even the 16-9 Guardian, you've seen him around the top three, lots of races, even if his results don't show. Honey Wild, so many other guys this season have proven that they belong. And I think that this group up here and the fact that we had a race for a championship, it didn't come down to people sending each other, wrecking each other. We just had a clean, fun race. That's what I respect the most. And I think that that really shows just how much, as a whole, the C group not just respects each other, but also the aspect of everyone's here for the right cause and wants to move forward and progress as a group. And there's nothing like having trust and faith. So when you mention names, yeah, it's great to have guys like Mike RPM, Bear, and so on up above. And you look below, there's a bunch of people you can quote unquote label as no names as what you would guess would say the mentality of an easy breeze. But there's nothing easy about driving, especially with no cautions and a different style of race compared to B. Anything can happen. So for that to be the mentality, I wouldn't say that's necessarily the way to go with C for anyone that wants to join the division moving forward. It is a grind and a battle every single week, and just because you may not have heard of someone does not mean they will not compete with you on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I was a little concerned there when you were saying easy breezy passes, that my name might get called out there. Um, Listen, Ward, of course, again, I talked about it. In the community, you have a big name, but I, for one, as CEO, of course, this goes to Hamilton X18, as well as Private Patton last night, and now you. This is our third championship of the season so far. We have one more, of course, to crown last night, but congratulations, man, and it's well deserved. You and Daha fought it out all season, and you proved here tonight that the victories don't necessarily mean a championship. As long as you can run consistent, you can end up in first place at the end of the season. So congratulations. I'm going to send it over to Pico. You got anything for Ward?
I don't have anything for you, Ward. I just want to say thanks for running in the league, man, and it's been an honor to be in the booth with you, having you up here with us. I feel like I've learned a lot, and congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. I've had again, by the way, too, it's been a privilege for me to be in the booth and have an opportunity to obviously not just have people hear me over the broadcast, but also get a little bit more of an understanding in not just what my in-depth analysis and understanding of this game is, but also to get different perceptions. Because at the end of the day, people see things differently. And I think that's really honestly compared to the B division, not saying the B division doesn't have this, but in the C group, you see different strategies, you see different styles, different personalities. And that's one thing I love about this division in particular. You get growing talent, growing stars, but you also get to see people's personalities really come out and shine. And that's why GC Sports this year, as a whole as a league, but also particularly the C group, has been great.
And Robbie, over to you. You got anything for our champion, Ward Burton?
I just want to say congratulations on the championship, buddy, and it's nice to actually finally be in the booth with you and get to talk to you. But also tonight's race, you were solid throughout the whole race, and race that you wanted to win. Did you want to win this final race tonight, or was you just happy to settle for a top three?
Good question.
I mean, that is a great question, actually, because honestly, did I want to win? Absolutely. But when I'm thinking on that final pit stop, and maybe this answers his question a little bit, I'm just thinking in my head, all right, I showed I'm going to pit now. I have guys coming to my outside. I don't want to oversend this. If he's pitting with me, I don't want to bubble him, force him to speed. I just want to hit my mark. I'm not that I'm content with second, because at that time I still thought I could win the race, but more of if I'm second, I still win the championship. And I mentioned this actually to Taddy when I first joined the league, and everything that went on with the rule of guys, winning C races, moving up to B. I said to Taddy, and you can even clarify this, is the fact of, I don't care if I win races. I care about how consistent I can be and improving myself race in and race out. Sure, wins are great, don't get me wrong, but I pride myself on being as good as I can be week in, week out, earning that respect and giving that respect to others. Because not only is that the big picture for this championship style, but also the aspect of me as an individual moving forward. So, again, do I want to win the race? Absolutely. But I like to think big picture, which is, I think, what really came down to the end of that race, especially with having a lot of near moments which, if I'm going to be honest, obviously lap cars did a good job today being respectful. But with the havoc in that final 3 laps, with the 34 and the 19 colliding, if I was in the lead pack, I probably got involved in that. So I'm a little bit happy, I guess, that I was a little bit off the 12 coming to those final 3 laps.
I'm not going to lie. I was hoping they collected you.
But not only that, you also had that incident with the 3 car coming off a pit road. I mean, it's a good job you was on Durhur's bumper the way you was, because otherwise, if there was a gap between you, it could have turned out completely different.
Yeah, it absolutely could have turned out different, but I think, again, that comes down to the situation as well, where everyone did a good job checking up. I was right behind the 12, made sure I gave him a little tap in the bumper when he came up initially, but made sure gave him room to get back down and make sure no one got into trouble. And again, it comes down to a mutual respect thing tonight, and I have a lot of respect for Daha. I think he's really talented, and he's trying to prove that he's a name in this game. And I'm going to be honest, he's one of these people I circle up here now on the top of NASCAR E5. With guys like Maxwell Castro, Baron Mike, and so on, as well as Private Batten.
Who's Maxwell Castro? Never heard of her.
No, never heard of her.
I'm just kidding.
No, 100% never heard of her. But, I think that, Noah Jr.'s definitely, well, again, I know I earned a championship, but in my opinion, he's been the best driver all year long. So I just got lucky to walk away with the championship. But, again, I've got to be better, and I've got to come out next for this B season to, real hot. I got to win races, and I've got to play to my strength as much as I can moving forward.
Yeah,
that's great stuff.
My closing remark here, as far as the driver interview aspect goes, Ward, I told you pre-race before we even went online, Daha was my pick tonight, and I was correct.
Really?
Nobody cares.
Sorry, I just got to throw that out there. But yeah, Daha, I did pick you pre-race. Not being like I picked you to win, but that was a tough task to gain 11 points on someone like Ward, who's yet to finish outside the top 5. But to both you guys, again, all season long, you guys put on a show, and you made people that gave up on the heat games, as well as playing NASCAR games in general on console. You guys put on one heck of a season to make people grow interest back into the game, and that's actually what we're here for. GC Sports, we're trying to build a community. We want people to get that fun back into it, and you guys showed that this game can be fun to play, and so thank you for that. And again, as being CEO of GC Sports, thank you for just putting on a great show in at entry level C group. I mean, how much faster can a group get that's just an entry level? Great job all season.
I got one more question for you, Teddy.
No. All right, go ahead.
Was you nervous since I qualified ninth? Did you get nervous?
No, I mean, to be honest with you, I've seen both you guys. There was a race that Ward actually started 19th and ended up in third after the first set of pit stops. I've seen you start further back and make your way through the traffic. So I was hoping it was going to turn out the way that it did. Of course, as a CEO, you always want to see your two guys that are battling for the championship. You want to see them racing together on track, and so that panned out perfectly. But in reality, I mean, I picked you to win the race. I just said that I've raced against you at Texas, right? So I kind of knew that you had a hot rod here. And I don't have a favorite. Had Ward gotten the title, had you gotten the title, heck, I don't care if True Death come up and got the title. I just want to see good racing here in the league, and is you couldn't ask for a better C group season finale than what you guys put on here at Texas. So great job again to both you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Ward.
Thank you.
Consistency always pays off.
All right, closing remarks here for me. I'm going to go with to anybody out there. We still have quite a few live viewers actually for this far into the interview section. But if you guys are interested, get a hold of me, Aqua Tatty. It's the same on PSN as well as Facebook. I respond quicker to Facebook. Get a hold of me, and also any of the drivers. If you just tell them, hey man, look, could you get me with Aqua Tatty, or can you get me in that GC Sports group? We're about to take 2 weeks off after tomorrow's race. Now's the time to get in if you want to have a fighting chance at advancing to the B group next season. Now's the time to do it. You're going to be racing, Ward and Daha, they've advanced to the B group, but that doesn't mean you can't race them. You come out here and you get a victory, you get to race up a group. And here's the cool part about A. So now, if you're in the C group, you could actually end up racing in the A group. You win your C group race, you come out, you win a B group race, and you're qualified for the A group. So there's opportunities for everyone in this league to showcase your talents and advance. So, you've seen it here tonight. The racing was phenomenal. We had a few incidents, but in a race with no cautions, you're always going to have those few incidents. As far as the B group, we have cautions there. We've had 3 cautions in 15 races. We have one more race tomorrow, but yeah, 3 cautions in 15 races, phenomenal. But Picola, I'm going to go to you. This is our last time that you and I are going to be in the booth this season. Do you have any closing remarks on either the league or the season that we've had in general for GC Sports?
Nope.
Shocker. Robbie, gonna go over to you, bud. Any closing remarks on either the C group, the league in general, the drivers, anything at all you got to say here? This is the last time I'm going to be in the booth, which probably means you as well here for season 2 of GC Sports.
Yeah, I'd just like to say to everybody that's a part of GC Sports or not a part of GC Sports and's been watching the broadcast, if you have any questions for setups and that, there is more than enough drivers here that will help you. There ain't nobody here that won't help somebody else. And
yeah,
talking of
Google
helping somebody else, I just want to say thank you to everybody that helped me a few months ago, and I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, heartfelt there from Robbie. Ward and Daha, I'm going to give you guys one last final chance. Do you guys have any last final remarks to say? As I said to them, this is your, Daha, you get a chance to podium tomorrow night, but for Ward, this is your last time in the booth this season. Any closing remarks at all, league or the season in general, or are you guys good by now?
Yeah, I guess I'll just end it off real quickly is the fact of, again, I'm real thankful to be here, part of GC Sports, and to go upon with Robbie's point, if anyone has any questions, wants any help, reach out. I myself pride myself on trying to help aid and get not just a better racing community involved, but also try to help people get an understanding of this game. And I personally have put a lot of time into this game and have the deep ins and outs, and I'm not trying to resume flex by any means, but especially have the eager and want to get better at this game and have a better understanding of custom setups. You can always reach me at Ward Burton on Twitter or even at Ivan Timor on YouTube, or YouTube, what am I saying, Instagram. So needless to say, you can find me there, and of course you can find me on the GC Sports server as well. And always send me a DM over Discord. I'll be more than glad to help. Again, I'm thankful to be a part here in GC Sports. I've felt nothing but, love since I've come here, in the respect of, everyone's treated me like a normal individual, not, how do I put it, regardless of my accomplishments, no one's raced me like I'm someone else. I'm just like everyone else in this league, and I'm just here to have fun, and I'm just so happy to have a league that's not an environment toxic and able to have fun, able to have guys show their talents and want to be here, and that's all I can ask for out of the league. So for that, Taddy, Cola, as well with you guys in the booth, and Robbie, I thank you so much for that, because I just genuinely cannot ask for more than that out of the league.
Absolutely, man. I want to go with one thing that he just said. He mentioned help with setups. To any viewer out there, I want to let you know that doesn't mean we're just going to give you what we run for a setup. When we say help with a setup, we're going to be even better than giving you ours. We're going to help give you the knowledge to learn how to build these so that you could be one of the top competitors knowing how to build your setup. And Daha, you got anything? Any last remarks, or you all set?
No, Ward pretty much said everything word for word.
It's a little more toxic for
Word for
you.
word.
None of us actually like you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, again, great season. And from everyone here at GC Sports, that's going to end our broadcast. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night. 30 minutes later, we'll be going live 8:35 Eastern Time. So tune in, watch the B group for the customs. 12 drivers fighting their way to advance the first ever A group on the custom side. Everybody else trying to stay in B and not have to drop to C. Good points battle over there, as well as the drivers we talked about: Richard Brochase, Mike RPM, the Bear, as well as Flash 9. Those four drivers going to be battling it out, trying to win a title. So tune in tomorrow night, GC Sports 8:35. And from everyone here, myself, Pete Cola, Robbie, Ward Burton, Daha, and Guardian finishing third tonight. Thank you, and see you next season on my end.